Now then, hello, how are we all? And welcome to episode 6 of the Ironman Prep series. We're going to take you around for a little training day in the life. This morning, we started with an AM swim session. The time is currently 11:41. So far the day, I have drank some coffee, hydrated. I've swam. We had 4 by 500 meters. So we had a 200 meter warm up, which is 8 lengths of a 25 meter pool, then rested for a minute, and then we did 4 sets of 500 meters, which is 20 lengths every time of a 25 meter pool, with a 60-second rest in between, and then 100 meters of a cool down. So totaled up 2,300 meters, 2.3 kilometers, at an average of 1 minute 41 per 100 meter pace. That is what I did this morning. I felt fantastic. I then had a bacon and egg sandwich and then ate some oats. And we are going to take you at 11:42 to shoot a little bit of the latest Boohoo Active Man range. So if you want to have a look at that, that is it. We've got a nice little tight top. Joe's going to swivel the camera. We've got a nice little tight top. These are the running shorts, which are fantastic. And normally I'm not a very big fan of this, like internal stuff, but I'm liking it. It's keeping the snake in its cage, am I right? So they're fantastic. Go and check out Joe's laughing behind the camera. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy. God, I miss Mickey. Anyway, this is the Boohoo Man Active range. Go and check it out. They are fantastic. We're going to go downstairs. I'm going to eat another meal. We're going to show you a few little clips of me shooting Boohoo, influence our life. We're then going to take you to the gym with us, and we're going to train with one of my fellow personal trainer friends. And today I'm going to have to take my Ironman prep out of my body for a split second, I think, because I believe he wants to do a Hyrox run through session because he's got his first one next Saturday. So we're going to do a little session there, even though I do have a back niggle that I'm nursing. I'm going to try my best not to go on perhaps the skier. And maybe potentially do an off-feet Hyrox training session. So off-feet obviously means no running. So we're going to probably use the C2 bikes instead, and we're going to get our freak on. So you can see that training session, and then I will chat to you about how skint I am, because I don't know if you've noticed, but we're in a new house. But it looks fantastic, look at that, black. And my kitchen, yes, it does look like sculpt because I painted it the exact same colour. But you will get a house tour very soon. But I'm not doing it until I have a nice sofa, because right now I'm using a temporary situation, and I even contemplated putting deck chairs in. Anyway, let's go with the before we get on with the video, like and subscribe, comment below to the channel, okay? And if you're lucky, by episode 20, if we get to 70,000 followers, I'll get my dick out. An elevated box pigeon. So get that up. Get that up. Oh, and just try and release that glute. Try and just release that glute. Oh, didn't see that. Didn't see that. Hello, welcome to the kitchen. We're gonna do a lot of good recipes and stuff. Yeah. If you ever dating a gym bunny, right, and you want to pretend that you've made them like a really good meal, what you do is, right, my dating life's not that good right now. You get the Muscle Food new pots, right? Heat them up and just pretend you've made it. So, Joe, what are you having? Are you having naked chicken katsu? Or are you having special non-fried rice? You don't like prawns, do you?
I don't like prawns.
You have that. So he's having that. I'm having this. And then after that, we're going to the gym to train, like I said. And we've just shot the Boohoo photos. You'll see them here in the edit. And then I'm gonna give Joe his first try of a Nocco Ramenade. That's that. Health, life's all about balance. I mean, they've been there for 3 months, don't know who I'm kidding. If I couldn't actually get through them, that's embarrassing. I tell you what, I'm a bloody lunatic for caffeine though, I tell you. Right, I'm gonna heat these up and probably snap to a slow-mo clip of me and Joe eating. Looks alright. I am a bit of a mayo whore. It's a technical term, that mayo whore, in the fitness world. But that is the Muscle Food special, not fried rice. Joe's is I think off initial attraction, Joe's looks a little bit more appealing. But if it tastes good, does the job, and it's high protein, this guy will put it in his mouth. And I'm not just talking about food, am I right? Right, welcome to the Hyrox debrief video. So I'm gonna ramble on at the camera for quite a long time. So like Joe behind the camera, like me right now, this is your chance to put me on pause right now and go and get yourself a caffeinated beverage. Because I'm gonna chat. Just thought we'd show you these quickly. We've got, what is it? I mean, we've got a number 2. There's this little fella, it's that way. Frankfurt, we've got a number 1. And last but not least, the last one, we've got a number 1. Right, I'm gonna stop being cocky now. Anyway, this is a little rundown. I saw Mr. TM Cycles, my good friend Thomas Moore, do a Hyrox debrief video, and I thought, why have I never done this? Why have I never done this when I've done now 3 Hyroxes, and I also have Glasgow in about a week's time. Yeah, 8 days time. Anyway, let's get into it. So Manchester Hyrox was very successful. It was probably the best setup that I've been to in terms of, London was great, but it was my first one and loads of stuff was going on and I was probably a little bit more nervous and I didn't really take in the atmosphere. Frankfurt was amazing, loved it, but obviously being in Frankfurt, there wasn't that many English people. I feel like Manchester, my third one, was, it had everything. The place was amazing, the setup, it was in this old like abandoned train station thing. And I realized that on YouTube, I've never really explained what a Hyrox is. So a Hyrox is essentially 8 kilometers of running. It is first of all, it is a functional fitness event that anyone can enter. And it is a modality of training kind of as well, because you can train Hyrox specifically, or you can do it around like what I do, whether it complements other bits of training or just mixing it in and trying to be a hybrid mother with strength training and Hyrox, which I find is the most enjoyable way to do it. So yes, me and Jade Skillen competed in the mixed sex pairs 16 to 29 category, which we won, and we were second overall for the day. Shout out to the couple that were ahead of us because they pipped us by about 6 wall balls. And they were the fastest couple of the day as in terms of mixed sex pairs, but they were in actually the 30 to 35-year-old category, which was the category above. And actually, believe it or not, in Hyrox world, it seems to be that the most competitive category is actually the 30 to 35s, I believe, rather than the 16 to 29s, which is what me and Jade are in, because I bring the average age down of our pair. So anyway, let's get into the video. Hyrox is essentially a functional fitness event, which is 8 kilometers of running. The first one you will hit, after your first kilometer, you will come back and do a 1,000-meter ski. Me and Jade broke that up, so I think I did 750 meters and she did 250. Then you go for another 1K run. You come back and you do the sled push, which is one of the most notorious, famous Hyrox segments for being brutal, because trying to run after pushing a heavy sled is quite rough. We split that up really smart. 1 big length for her, 1 big length for me, and then half, 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 half. That was really good. 1 kilometer run. We then did the sled pull, which is section number 3. That was predominantly me because I'm a lot more upper body dominant. So section number 3 is the sled pull, which is predominantly me because I'm a lot more upper body dominant. So I will take the brunt of that, probably out of the 4 lengths of 12.5 meters. Am I saying that right? 12.5 meters. I'll do 3 for every one of Jade's. That'll not be in a row, but we'll probably split that up on a 3-to-1 ratio. 1 kilometer run. The next section is burpee broad jumps, where Jade will come into her own. I've never seen someone spring about so well at burpee broad jumps, and she will definitely carry me. 3-to-1 ratio on that. I actually did feel a lot better on that compared to normal, but it's just mass moves mass, and mass does not move mass when you are on burpee broad jumps. Section number 5, again, a one that is a little bit more biased towards me, is the rowing. So you row 1,000 meters. On that one, I actually rowed 800 meters on that one and left Jade with only 200 meters, so I can try and recover and calm my heart rate down before going on the next 1K run. So 800 meter row, that is my jam. I can grip it and rip it on that. And me going slow is still faster than Jade going fast on the rower, but she is the stronger runner out of us as a pair, so we were really tactical and smart with that. I was pretty happy with that. So that's number 5, go for a 1K run. Number 6 is farmers walks, 224 kilos. Honestly, like when you look at like how small of a frame she has, she's probably about 4'11". She is a monster with that. The fact that she's just locking herself in and just going on the farmers walks, we're done pretty damn quickly with that. And I would say if you are new to Hyrox, it's probably the easiest segment number 6, farmers walks. Number 7, sandbag lunges, which do get a little bit lit because you are running 1K pretty damn hard, going into sandbag lunges where you'll probably do like anywhere from 120 to 150 lunges depending on stride length. I can't remember the exact meterage, but 20 kilo bag on the back, repping it out, just going and grinding it out. 1K run after that is a little bit tasty because your glutes and your quads are on fire. But it's something that I've trained a lot, so I felt like I managed with that quite well, and 20 kilo lunges are not really anything for me. And then going into the final wall balls. Wall balls, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty annoyed with myself because I got 8 no reps because of depth, but I've got to be honest, my right knee, which is always my bad side, did have a little bit of like a niggle towards the end after the sandbag lunges. I don't know if I like bolted out to the right too much when I did a lunge, or maybe caved in, but I did feel it, and honestly I could not tell on them wall balls for the first 10 whether I was hitting depth or not. I was just trying to grind it out. But anyway, did about probably did 50 wall balls each between me and Jade, and then banged it out, and we got 1 hour 1, which is a little bit frustrating because in Frankfurt in Germany we got 1 hour 0.0001 seconds, so it was a 1/10 of a second off the sub hour, which is really frustrating because I wanted to hit that under the hour mark this time. However, after speaking to the Hyrox community, there were actually quite a lot of complaints about the course being longer. And even though it was 8 kilometers of running, I know there'll always be a little bit of variance, 8.1, 7.9, stuff like that. But I actually clocked 8.9 kilometers on my watch at the end of the Hyrox. So 900 meters out, I do feel that would have added a little bit of a difference in terms of the event. So the event, you essentially start, there's like a big Red Bull dome that you have to run through. Timer goes on for like a 5-minute countdown. It's absolutely sick. Everyone's there in your sort of heat. So mixed sex pairs, everyone's getting pumped up, nerves start kicking in, get a little bit of a nervous belly. And that timer's kicking off. I think they played like 7 Nation Army or something when we were there. So that's always really good atmosphere. Everyone bolts off. A lot of people go out far too fast in the first 1 kilometers and then start falling off, but really, really good atmosphere. Obviously taken around the track this time. This time in Manchester, it was actually 3 laps per kilometer. So you had like, you have like an in and an out section, which you come in to start your next segment. So you'll come in and then you'll hit the skier, the rower, the sled push, the sled pull, whatever it is. And then once you finish that, you'll have to go the out and then you'll hit 3 laps continuously on that track, which was actually remarkably hard to keep count of when you are fatigued, even if you are experienced. Thoughts and feedback on the race from the Ironman training and from all of the Zone 2 running that I've been doing. I've got to say my running felt the best it has ever felt. I felt incredible on my feet. I've got to be honest, like every time that we were running this time compared to the first time I did it, Jade was pulling me around and I was just holding on for dear life because I think I've got quite a strong mental game. I was just trying to chase her down. Whereas this time there was a few segments of the running where it was me taking the lead and me going, which is awesome because I've never been a comfortable runner. And I think that is down to doing quite a lot of like 2 runs a week, 1 Zone 2 long run and 1 speed session. So the speed sessions that I've been doing recently from Fergus for the Ironman have been like on a Monday or a Tuesday. And they've been essentially like warming up 5-10 minutes of like really steady state running, like actually fully static resting, so standing still, and then going into some sort of intervals, 800s, 1000s, 1.2, 1200 meters, but they are at like a 4-minute per kilometer pace, and then like resting, having a set standstill rest of like 3-4 minutes, and then doing it again. And I've been getting like 4 or 5 rounds of that in, with then finishing off to a 5-10 minute easy run. That's like always run session 1 of the week, and run session 2 of the week is my Zone 2 run, which will be anywhere from 60 to 70 to 80 minutes of running at a very, very steady pace, trying to stay in Zone 2, which is about like a 140 to 145 heart rate for me, beats per minute. And those are the ones that I think have massively, massively helped me understanding breathing, understanding gait and form when running, thinking about actually how am I moving, how am I striking the floor, what is my most comfortable and efficient position. And it was been a game changer because the segments in the middle of a Hyrox have been nothing that I struggled with. That was what I was used to even the first day when we did London. Skiing and rowing and sled push and pull heavy is absolutely fine. But over the moon with that. Definitely a couple of things to work on. Definitely could have maybe strategically like paced stuff a little bit better, pushed on stuff a little bit more. I was very disappointed for myself with the wall balls because I feel like I let Jade down on that, but I actually do think overall that the track was a little bit longer. I do think that I personally felt a hell of a lot better than what I did in Frankfurt. And I definitely think the next time we do one, which we're going to do the World Championships, because I qualified 3 times, that we will do it. So that's going to be awesome. I'm very much looking forward to that. And then in the meantime, I'm going to do one in Glasgow next Saturday, just for the crack, just to get some more kilometers in my legs. And that's going to be singles Hyrox. And I'm just going to do that just to test out how it feels, put my foot in the water a little bit, not go hell for leather with that one in terms of like training for it, and just using my Ironman training and my strength training that I'm doing now to coincide and go and attack that. I hope you've enjoyed some of the clips that have been going on beside my head. We try to get as much footage as possible, but obviously Joe wasn't there, so some of the stuff are vertical from the videographers that were at Hyrox. But give a little shout out to OJ Media, which we'll put here, and Luca, because those two guys are the ones that have been sending clips. Shout out to Built for Athletes, if you can see that bag or not. Built for Athletes are awesome. They have supported me, supported Sarah, supported Jade throughout all of our Hyroxes, and kind of like let us be ambassadors for it, which is insane because they're now the official partners with them. And shout out to Puma and Hyrox in general for putting on a sick event. And the biggest thing that I want to say is I actually almost for a split second got a bit emotional. I'm a little bit like that sometimes, rough exterior, but going into that event, going into Hyrox, and like the first thing I saw was this massive, huge screen. It must have been 150 inches or something like that, like a football style screen. And seeing the gym with like me training on it, Sarah training on it, Jade training on it in Sculpt was absolutely insane, and it was sick. And loads of you were kind enough to stop us, have a quick 5-minute chat, and tell us that you've been using some of the workouts that I've been doing, some of the workouts that me and Jade have been doing for programming, and that is what it's all about. It was a sick experience. The reason I love Manchester so much and love that one is because I genuinely got to speak to so many different people compared to normal, and I was probably a little bit more calm, so I was probably a little bit more talkative than what I was the first time I did it in London. But yeah, insane day all around, met some great people, saw some cool stuff. Built for Athletes was sick, and I will see you in the next video.